there Nintendo players, my name is Paul S. Lax, and today we're going to be taking an in-depth look at the Splatoon 3 Direct, as well as information that was released by Nintendo about Splatoon 3. August 10th, 2022. It finally happened. The Direct aired and Nintendo put out a boatload of extra information on their official Splatoon 3 website. It was time to bask in the glory of the Splatlands, with less than a month to go until the game was released. But what actually happened? The Direct opened with a pretty safe and unspectacular presentation designed to ease new players in, whilst veterans were foaming at the mouth, desperate for something new to cling on to. We were given the basic information about how Splatoon is played, turf war, inking for movement, etc. For a brief moment it felt like this was going to be completely about appealing to brand new fans with zero knowledge, but then just as you started to think that, BAM! We get a proper look at the new movement mechanics. Squid Research for busting up walls and over the top of the ledge, and Squid Roll, which allows you to quickly reverse direction and dive backwards. We've seen these before, but crucially this time it was confirmed that both come with a small window of invulnerability, allowing for much more daring maneuvers while approaching enemies. Snipers beware. Will you be able to perform these moves while carrying the Rainmaker? Only time will tell. Next up was confirmed stages. New and retro stages are being classed as either from the Splatlands or Greater Inkopolis respectively. We were shown previously revealed Splatoon 3 original stages, Scorch Gorge, Eeltail Alley, Mincemeat Metalworks, I still really dislike the name of that one, and Undertow Spillway. But these were joined by a brand new stage, Hagglefish Market, which visually reminded me of Mahi Mahi Resort as it's surrounded by water. But structurally it reminded me of the shifty stations from Splatoon 2, specifically Grappling Girl, just given a fresh thematic coat of paint and repurposed for wider play by removing the grapplings in favour of things like ink rails. We then got a brief look at returning stages from Greater Inkopolis, Museum d'Alfonsino, which has been seen previously, as well as Hammerhead Bridge making its glorious return from the original Wii U game. We didn't get much of a look at it, so it's difficult to gauge how many changes they've made in the interim. And then they only went and brought back the best stage from Splatoon, Mahi Mahi Resort. You can keep your cheap knockoff New Albacore Hotel. Mahi Mahi is back, baby! Then they just casually confirmed 4 returning stages from Splatoon 2. Inkblot Art Academy, Sturgis Shipyard, Mako Mart, in my opinion the best stage Splatoon 2 brought us, and Wahoo World. These 4 are amongst the most popular stages from Splatoon 2, so it's easy to understand why they return here. Although I personally don't care for Wahoo World, I know I'm in the minority. We also had it confirmed that more stages will be added in later updates, and got a glimpse at what is very clearly Flounder Heights from the first game, although it wasn't named specifically, and an as yet unnamed stage from the Splatlands, which has a desert theme reminiscent of Egypt. Basics of movement and stages to play out on Out of the Way. Next up was a focus on weaponry. A brief mention of the previously confirmed via social media fact that all basic variants of weapons from Splatoon and Splatoon 2 will be returning when the game launches. We got another quick look at Splatoon 3's signature new weapon type, the bow-like Stringer, before getting an extended look at Splatoon's brand new class to be added, Splatanas. As the name implies, these weapons are katana-like in nature, but instead of slicing your opponent to pieces, you'll be slashing at them with focused ink flinging. Bit like a mini roller. The basic attack of the Splatana Wiper switches from side to side in front of you, whilst hurtling a wave of ink at a decent distance ahead of you. You can also charge your shot, however, for a more powerful attack. A spotlight was then put onto the special weapons in the game. Rather than talk about the ones they've already highlighted in previous presentations, we were straight away introduced to the brand new Tacticooler. This is unlike anything else we've ever seen in Splatoon history. A vending machine that provides your team with 4 drinks that provide buffs for a short period of time. So far all we've seen is speed enhancement, but it's not out of the realms of possibility that these could include better ink efficiency, faster special charging, etc. Next up was Generation 3's attempt at reinventing the echolocator, Say Hello to the Wave Breaker. When set up, it emits sequential waves around it, and when they connect with the opponent, not only will they mark them, but they will also deliver some damage. The trailer, however, immediately showed that you can simply jump over the small ring that pulses out and avoid its effects entirely. So this seems like a special that would be best deployed in choke points or focal areas like the centre of a splat zone or on the tower to reveal anyone trying to approach, and deal that first part of damage that can make the difference to your attackers trying to get the jump on the enemy. We also got introduced to the Wreath Slider, essentially a ground-based splashdown that starts off with a horizontal dash in front of you. Depending on how much armor you have while using this could be an excellent weapon for starting combats, as it should allow you to dive into target areas quickly and clear out the enemy. It was particularly shocking to then see the return of some specials from Splatoon 2. Tent Missiles, Inkjet, Inkstorm, Ultra Stamp and the Booyah Bomb were all confirmed to be returning. To an extent, I can understand the development team's desire to bring Stamp and Booyah back, as they were introduced relatively late into the life cycle of Splatoon 2, so only a small number of weapon options had access to these specials. The others, however, I have a hard time agreeing with bringing back. We already have the Trizooka and Triple Ink Strike, so the Inkjet and Tenter Missiles seem superfluous by extension, as the brand new specials were modern reworkings of the specials that were replaced by Inkjet and Missiles in Splatoon 2. Missile spam in particular can already be a nightmare to deal with in Splatoon 2, so I'm not looking forward to having to deal with it again now. Inkstorm is fine, I guess, because it feels like they're admitting that they already got that one just about as right as they can, and there isn't a significant way to overhaul it. Speaking of overhauling, the weapons shop system is pretty different now. You don't buy the weapons using the currency you'll be earning every game. Instead, you need to earn licenses through leveling yourself up or by increasing the freshness level of weapons that you already own. Once you've got some, you can exchange one license for a new weapon that's available at the level you're already at. Or if you want, you can save up some and use them to buy a weapon earlier than you're supposed to get it. This feels like a move specifically for veterans who really want a specific comfort weapon, to be honest. Given one of the principal ways of earning licenses to level up anyway, you may as well just level up and buy more weapons for less licenses. Next up was a brief overview of the rest of the shops. They operate the same way as before, exchange in-game currency for new items of headgear, clothing and shoes, the stock of which changes daily, with more items becoming available as you level up. The cast that are selling them to you, however, have changed once again. My new favourite is Nails. How can you not be a fan of the guy? He looks cool AF. There was a brief mention of how abilities on clothing work, with a very visual demonstration of run speed up, which, to be fair, is the easiest one to demonstrate. Most abilities have such a marginal difference visually, before they reveal the new ability, Intensify Action, which supposedly improves your Squid Surge and Squid Roll. It wasn't made exactly clear in the Direct how this actually plays out, but thankfully the official Splatoon 3 website goes into more detail. You will keep more momentum when using consecutive Squid Rolls and charge up the Squid Surge faster. In both cases, it will also reduce the effect of lessened accuracy after performing these moves. But that wasn't the biggest news in the world of abilities. Firstly, Merch has grown up. He looks even older than Spike did in the first game now. What happened in these last 5 years? Secondly, for the first time in the series history, you can change the main ability of your gear. That's a change that people have been clamoring for since the first game. Now you can truly make whatever fashion choices you wish, so long as you're willing to grind a lot of ability chunks to be able to do so. Additionally, per the info on the website, for the first time in series history, you can also have gear that is higher than 3 stars. It doesn't give you any more slots for secondary abilities, but it will give you more experience and earn ability chunks quicker than usual. How do you do this? Well, if you purchase a duplicate piece of gear from the shop, it will enhance the star level of the gear you already have. Alternatively, in keeping with tradition, you can give Merch a Super Sea Snail and he'll increase your gear's level. Quality of life improvements don't stop there. Another feature Squid Kids have been desperately wanting since 2015 is the ability to natively save loadouts for quick access. Well, now we have them. Up to 5 different sets can be registered. Previously, this was locked to Amiibo and needing to have them to hand or remembering which sets were on which one. And that's all in the past now, as you can just access the feature instantly. Thank the big man for that. Next up was a look at the new version of Rank Battles, Anarchy Battle. This comes in 2 flavours, Series and Open. Open allows you to team with your friends in ranked battle modes. Splat Zones, Tower Control, Rainmaker and Clan Blitz all return and are available from day 1 on rotation, or you can just play as a solo squid looking to team up with others. There was no new ranked mode unveiled, to the disappointment of many, although having 4 ranked modes, Story Mode, Turf War and Salmon Run all available at the start is plenty to get your teeth into. Save that brand new ranked mode, or 2, for future updates, and we're good. Of the 4, Rainmaker seems to be the only mode with any significant changes to it, so for the most part, if you've played Splatoon 2, you'll be familiar with how these modes play. Hopefully there's a better tutorial for each, as opposed to the virtually non-existent ones previously, for the new cohort of players. Personally, Personally, I despise the fact that checkpoints have been added to Rainmaker and that they force you to drop the golden fish and it respawns the shield at that point, as it looks like it will all but kill the thrilling nature of the mode from previous entries, as you're now going to be required to hit certain points on the map before you can reach the goal and be forced to reset at those points. Seems completely unnecessary to me because the flow is now stunted and aggressive moves and swift counterattacks are just not possible until you've already been through all the checkpoints. Rainmaker has always been my favourite mode, but for the first time I think that won't be the case with Splatoon 3, which is an almighty shame because it's nothing to do with the improvements made to other modes, but rather taking away what I would argue is the very core of what makes Rainmaker a fun experience in the first place. This was the only real negative in the entire presentation to me, but it's one that strikes through my heart. But enough about prematurely predicting the demise of the game's best mode. Matchmaking has been confirmed to be based around the player with the lowest number of rank points in your team, so there could be a good number of lopsided skirmishes ahead when a newer player teams up with 3 experienced pros. Conversely, Anarchy Series is a very much solo affair compared to Anarchy Open, where you'll be paired up with other solo squids, seeking to gain 5 wins to complete a run of the challenge. Your run will end when you've attained 5 wins or suffered 3 losses, and only at the end of your challenge will you receive your rewards. In order to participate, you have to gamble some of your hard-earned rank points for the privilege of taking the challenge. He who dares wins, Rodders. An excellent addition to this is the fact that, well, assuming your teammate doesn't back out or have yet to finish their own run, if you choose to continue your run, you'll be kept with the same team. This will give squids the stability they crave over an 8-match run and allow them to learn how their newfound teammates play. Or you can choose to pause your challenge and come back another time, whatever floats your boat. Oh, and the concept of ranks in each mode is now dead and buried. We're back to the ways of the first generation where you had 1 rank regardless of mode. If you're a tower control specialist and never want to play clan bits ever again, you can do that and still have an excellent S+ rank. For the time being, ranks are back to how they were at the start of Splatoon 2. C, B, A, S, and between S+0 and S+50. It has been announced that X rank will return in a future update, and that you'll need to be a bare minimum of S+0 to even attempt to become X rank. So it doesn't sound like you'll necessarily have to rank up from S+9 this time around. This could be linked to the way ranking up now occurs. You have to participate in rank up battles which are exclusive to Anarchy Series. Your ranks will also drop down at the end of each season. It's purported to be a case of 2 ranks below the highest you have reached up until that point in the season. We'll see what happens with it all when these additions drop, along with League battles in a future update. Not sure how popular League will really be now that Anarchy Open exists. It was the only way to play ranked modes in the wild with your friends before, but now you can drop in with a friend into rank play at any time, so they seem redundant, or at least they would. But the official website does drop an interesting tidbit of information. Since they're a bit of a rowdier bunch, sometimes the residents of Splatsville go a little rogue and throw some special modes into League battles. What could this mean? How special are we talking? 2 Rainmakers on the field? Turbo booster tower control? Clan Blitz where you need 20 clams to make a super clan but it's worth 40 points when you break the basket? Who knows what kooky ideas they're going to bring to League battle going forward? Hopefully, it will be enough to justify playing it with your friends. Speaking of which, ghosts. The lobby not only hosts the test range for weapons to warm up while you wait for a game, but you can now find your friends that are currently playing matches. And if their team isn't already filled out with friends, you can join them and be on the same team in Turf War as well as ranked modes. This is an evolution that fans have been dying for since we first set foot in Incopolis, and it's finally here. This alone will make playing Splatoon 3 an absolute joy. I'm not even remotely kidding. Being able to join up and play alongside your friends guaranteed any time without having to go about forming a specific lobby in both turf and ranked modes. Yes, yes, yes. And that's one of the biggest and most requested changes that's been made, but they didn't stop there. The lobby also has a terminal where you can access your results for the last 50 battles you've participated in the same way you can via Splatnet 2 for Splatoon 2. But Splatoon 3 goes 3 steps beyond even just bringing this information within the game. For each of these matches, you have access to full battle replays, which are recreations of your most recent battles, much like how saving a replay works in Smash Ultimate. These aren't true replays, but a recreation from the data recorded during the match. So these will be deleted when future patches change how the game works. You have full access to spectator mode control that debuted in Splatoon 2 during this, so you can watch the game from more than just your own perspective, and you'll be able to upload them as well. On the subject of Splatoon 2, there was some important information that wasn't included in the Direct that pertains to carrying across save data from 2 to 3. Players who do so will receive 3 gold Sheldon licenses to be exchanged for main weapons, no matter what their current level is. They'll also be able to join Anarchy battles from the beginning of the game instead of having to reach level 10 first. Furthermore, depending on their Splatoon 2 ranks, they'll start Splatoon 3 with a higher rank and be matched up against players with similar skill levels from Splatoon 2. Players are being rewarded for loyalty across the games, but this is also a system that will help protect brand new players from the rampaging murder beasts that would otherwise be lurking for them in the early days. There is a very real skill gap between experienced and brand new players, and this method of mitigating the need for experienced players to grind the early ranks and levels alongside those embarking upon their first Squid Game journey is an extremely welcome addition. Yet another new inclusion is the locker, a lovely little addition where you can express your personality by decorating it inside and out. You'll be able to display unlocked weapons, gear, items and stickers, which you can either buy from the brand new shop on the scene Hotlantis, or unlock via the new catalog system where you accumulate points at the same time you gain experience and coinage. The catalogs are seasonal though, so you'll need to work hard to unlock everything within them over the 3 months they're around. We've been guaranteed 2 years worth of these so far, so there's going to be plenty of content to unlock over the next couple of years. Your snazzily decked out locker will appear in the locker rooms of players you've recently encountered. Increased customization is a big theme of Splatoon 3, as you can now have customized splat tags. Your choice of banner, badge and title show at the start of each match, and you can choose your own end of game emotes. Easily the most random reveal of the Direct that still has me scratching my head was the announcement of Table Turf Battle, an in-game card-based minigame that sees you duking it out with NPCs to establish who can take the most squares on a map with their combination of cards. Extremely unexpected and could be fun, but it's no Squid Jump, and if it's not there as a distraction while I'm waiting for a match to load, I don't see me spending much time with this. It's a quirky addition to be sure, but it does seem a bit like someone from the team pitched it as a mobile game and it didn't go any further, so they just bundled it into the main game. Definitely less random and more likely to be played by the player base as a whole, especially as it was confirmed on the website that it's available any time now. We got more information on Salmon Run Next Wave, including a couple of new boss salmonids. The award for best pun name in the game goes to the UFO-like boss called Slammin' Lid, while by comparison the big shot seems incredibly tame. We also got details on a kaiju-like king salmonid called Kohozuna, an absolutely massive beast that may appear after you've completed your third and final wave. The amount of HP this behemoth has is substantial, to the point that your backpack becomes a secret golden egg firing cannon, which will be needed to deal significant damage to the king. Your price for defeating the king? Fish scales, which vary in rarity, with rarer ones appearing more frequently at higher hazard levels, and can be used to exchange for special splash tag designs or items for lockers. The phrase, "one of the new king salmonids," was included here, suggesting that there are other as yet unseen king salmonids. I really can't wait to dive in deep with Salmon Run Next Wave. And it doesn't stop there. We had a teaser trailer for Big Run, a special event where salmonids will invade regular stages. We saw it in action on Wahoo World and it looks absolutely insane. I can't fathom how intense that will be on certain stages. There was also a short section on the story mode, which didn't reveal much we hadn't already seen in the previous trailer, except the little buddy can be used as a sub weapon and the little guy will hang on to and attack whatever you throw him at. Little buddy, you're the best. It was also implied that this will bring an end to the saga that started back in the first game. Is a truly epic finale on the cards? We have less than a month until we find out for sure. It was also confirmed that there will be a substantial paid DLC in the future, which teased appearances from Off the Hook, so it seems like a sequel to Octo Expansion is in the works. We got a quick confirmation of a few returning features. Our Miiverse substitute, the mailbox, is back, and the shoal returns as the hub for local wireless play. Recon mode is its own separate thing now. It doesn't rely on the map to be in rotation, and there's a photo mode for while you wander around the main hub area. Splatnet also returns in the form of Splatnet 3 via the Nintendo Switch Online mobile app and delivers pretty much exactly the same experience as its predecessor. Amiibo also return and have the exact same functionality as in Splatoon 2. You can save gear sets to them, take photos with them, and they'll unlock special amiibo gear to use in game. We also had a set of 3 new amiibo confirmed, although they won't be available at launch, which is disappointing, especially as one of them is Little Buddy. We'll see you sometime this winter, my man. The big finale to the Direct was the reveal of our new idols, Deep Cut, consisting of Fry, Shiver, and everyone's new favourite, Big Man. Yes, for the first time, the idols are a trio. They'll deliver the newscast, of course, but it seems very much like this is finally optional. Rather than interrupting the entire game, the news, i.e. the change in stages, can simply pop up in the top left corner. You do have the option to actually watch the news if you prefer by clicking the left stick, but beyond the novelty of seeing our new favourite trio in action, nobody's going to willingly do that. Deep Cut themselves provided some of the hottest breaking news of the day. Not only do Splatfest return, honestly we all knew that they would, but they do so with 2 significant changes that completely freshen up the event and could make them better than ever before. First and foremost, Splatfests are now a 3-way vote. That's right, only one of 3 teams will win. It'll be harder than ever before to pick the winning team by just thinking about how others will vote. There's now stuff you can do to contribute to your team's chances of success before the Splatfest proper begins as well. During the pre-Splatfest period when you pick your team, you can earn conch shells by increasing your catalogue level through battles and ships at Grisco. The number of conch shells each team earns during this period will be factored into the final results. So even if you miss the main part of the Splatfest through other commitments, you can still take part in a meaningful way. You can then spend your shells at the shell-out machine to win items. On top of this, Splatfests are now split into 2 phases. The first half plays out as previous Splatfest did. You'll play Turf War against members from an opposing side in order to gain points for your chosen team. At the end of the first phase, the team that is currently in the lead will be declared, and then Tricolour Turf Wars begin. The team in first place will have to defend their position against the other 2 teams simultaneously. 4 members of the first place team will have to battle against 2 members of Team 2 and 2 members of Team 3 to determine which team will be the king of the mountain at the end of the Splatfest. There's even a special item in this mode, the Ultra Signal. The leading team will need to prevent members of the other teams from getting hold of it, as it will not only summon the Sprinkler of Doom, yes, that's its actual name, which automatically increases the amount of turf covered by the team that uses it, but it will also add clout to that team for their Splatfest score. Tricolour Turf Wars look to be an absolute hoot, and I cannot wait to get stuck into them. And I won't have to wait long, because once again we're getting a preview Splatfest demo. The Splatoon 3 Splatfest world premiere runs from 9 AM to 9 PM UK time on August 27th, with the theme of rock, paper, scissors, in what some are dubbing the Battle of Gone Freaks. Personally, I'll be on Team Scissors, not just because it's the team for Big Man, although you better always support his team, but also because everyone loves the Acclaimed. Overall, the Splatoon 3 Direct contained an absolute treasure trove of information, and for those who were seeking even more, the team delivered in spades by expanding upon this on their official website. We're less than a month away from launch, and we're counting down the days to not only the Splatfest world premiere, but the day we can finally form a Squid string quartet. Not long to go now, and it's looking like an absolute banger of a game.